What's good, everybody? It's Evans Jean Jacques back at it again with another video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And today I want to talk about something that is real, something very, very near and dear to my heart. It's a topic that most people my age don't learn until it is far too late. And this is what a high paying corporate job taught me at a young age. I learned values, I learned what money can't do for you. I learned that freedom is absolutely priceless. And lastly, but not leastly, I learned that your youth, this vigor, this energy that I have, that I'm blessed with, is something I can never get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I'm going to dive right into it. When I say I learned to know my values, because if you don't know your values, you will sell them without even realizing it. If you don't know what you hold dear, the job will give you things to hold dear. I saw people putting material goods on a pedestal. It was insane. Putting up photos in the cubicles to justify why they're working more than a medieval slave. I watch people trade their time, their peace, their very identity, their health, the joy that comes with being alive, just to hit numbers that didn't even matter. It was a sales position, and I was selling a pretty popular product in the US. It was very, very competitive in the environment. And this lead people to feel worthless if they didn't close a deal that day. I'm the energy person in my office. I make the rounds every day, keeping up morale and just constantly making sure people got some pep in their step. Not ask people how their day was going, and they were having a horrible day. Not because they were starving or their car broke down or they were in poor health, but simply because they didn't get a deal. The place trains people to believe that their value is tied to their productivity, to their output, which is literally how a slave is valued. Slaves are valued strictly on productivity. It trains you to sell your life in exchange for approval. There was a public leaderboard system, and it does what it's designed to do. Too often I saw people who had otherwise, normal great lives sink into despair and get ready to blow a gasket or blow their top off if they weren't on that leaderboard. If they weren't getting the approval of the crowd, it was just a nightmare for them. And in this environment, I just had to remind myself why I started working, like to build my freedom, my security, and to construct a life that I would love living, not to get trapped in no cycle of fake and vapid accomplishments. And I noticed every single week that the leaderboard would just reset back to zero. Like every Sunday night, it literally resets back to zero from whatever the previous week was. So in my head, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what it cost you last week, right? Your health, your mentality, how many drugs, the Percocets and Adderalls they had to take. The week after, it resets. This is living in Groundhog Day. Sacrifices for the same vapid accomplishments week after week. I saw the dopamine cycle early. Like I peeped what was going on off the rip, and I did not want to participate whatsoever. Money, like the money means nothing without your peace, your health, and your freedom. Emphasis on the health. Even though the pay was good, the pay was fantastic actually. It was damn good. But that comes with an ugly truth though. The money couldn't buy any peace. The money doesn't buy your health. It was people in the office making buku dollars, could barely walk to the vending machine. Just their health in shambles. The money couldn't buy freedom. For that same vending machine, they're tied to the office. They can't leave. They can't use it and live fulfilled lives in my standards. The highest earners, one thing I observed in that environment was that the highest earners were always the most stressed, unhealthy, and exhausted people. Chained to a desk, like glued to screens in blue light, suffocating under pressure. With the group around my age, we were all, in our early 20s. The highest earners were always, like I said, the most stressed, unhealthy and mentally exhausted people, literally selling their youth to buy cars and clothes just to sit in an office in them clothes for 14 hours a day with a fancy car that you financed or leased, sitting outside for 14 hours a day. It was crazy to me. The only place they have time to wear the clothes, or like I said, at the office, and it's it was still so funny. You don't even realize that your youth is slipping away, and the money becomes useless if you don't have a life outside of your paycheck. If that makes any sense, having like buku dollars doesn't matter if you're enslaved to the place that gives it to you. It's like being a correctional officer. You in there damn near just as much as a prisoner. It's just that they got a little bit more power than you. The third home run that this environment taught me, that freedom is priceless. Freedom of movement, freedom from stress and constant burnout, freedom to just explore, learn, and live. Walk outside and take a big ass, deep ass breath without being stressed half to death. You can't replace sunlight in your mental health or your time. When I left that job and started traveling, living abroad, waking up to real life instead of screens, I understood that money, like the money I was chasing, was never worth the life I was losing. I know I'm saying this while you watching my video, probably through a screen on YouTube, but just take the lessons and don't waste your life watching my videos, all right? Corporate life had me waking up at the wrong hours, sitting under artificial lights with no sunlight or movement for 10 to 14 hours a day. My life was disappearing one boring ass meeting at a time. Time moved, but I can promise you, I did not. I was sitting in that chair all day. I was living, but Lord knows I was not feeling alive or whatsoever. It was the oddest phenomenon. It's like I felt myself aging mentally in that job, but it wasn't feeding me or growing me or anything. And my philosophy is, if your pockets grow, but you as an individual don't, by the time you notice the disparity, it will be catastrophic consequences already in effect. And I knew right then and there, this can't be my story. It could be a chapter, it could be a subtitle, but this cannot be the whole story. On a brighter note, though, I was able to recognize and really realize what the job gave me in return, aside from buku dollars. It didn't give me success or purpose because I didn't feel fulfilled even when I was at my most successful in that environment. But it did give me clarity, clarity on what matters to me, my peace, my health, my time, freedom of movement. I need to be able to move around. My youth, my freedom, my very identity. It made me cherish my soul a little bit more, if that makes sense. It taught me exactly what kind of life I never wanted to live again. But it's about the life I'm choosing now. Now I live with way more intention. That career was intentionally a stepping pad. I mean, a stepping stone for where I am now and where I'm going in the future. But that environment just sharpened my intention a whole lot more. Now I'm living with way less stress, lower costs. With my freedom, the sky's the limit. I'm healthier, calmer, more alive than I've personally ever been. And I didn't get this life by making more money. I got it by letting go of the idea that money was the goal. So, yeah, my high paying corporate job did not teach me how to get rich. It taught me something deeper, though. Know your values. Money isn't life. Say it with me, class. Freedom is priceless. And your youth is something you cannot ever get back. And as always, folks, if this video resonated with you, offered you some value, please share by word of mouth. Tell your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your cat. And be sure to drop your thoughts in the comments if you've had similar experiences. I want to leave this one off by saying Happy New Year to all of you who have been watching. I've been getting a tiny bit of views every day, and it is fantastic. I included some B-roll from how I spent my New Year's on the beaches of Mexico. Fantastic. As always, we are building this thing one hammer swing at a time. Let's have a prosperous year, and I will see you in the next one.
There is no waiting in creation, there is only being. To wait implies that your desire is distant, that it exists somewhere outside of you, that time must pass before you can have it. But what if time were an illusion?